Welcome to Reframe Your Mindset for Success. With me today is Ian. How are you today, Ian?
I am brilliant. Yeah, really good, Paul. Cheers.
Really good. Enjoying the hot weather?
Loving it. You can't complain, can we? We've moaned too much about it, so enjoy it while it's here.
Absolutely. And as you've just been telling me, you've got air conditioning, so it's a lot easier then, isn't it?
It's a hell of a lot easier. I'm very smug right now.
Yeah, definitely. And what have you been up to this week? Have you been busy?
Yeah, I've done a few bits to do some volunteering work as well with a Northwest Tech Talent Consortium. So we had a huge
Okay.
teacher insight day yesterday with sort of 50 plus teachers inspiring them about the next generation of tech and the
Yeah.
students and stuff like that. I had a weekend at the F1 at Silverstone, which was immense.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And then other than that, it's been pretty much melting other than that. But yeah, can't
Yeah.
complain.
Yeah. Who are you cheering on at Silverstone?
I'm a McLaren, so I'm a Lando Norris guy. But
Yeah.
I was happy to see Hamilton doing well. My son's a massive Ferrari fan, so
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm,
split
I'm,
loyalties in the family.
Yeah, it's interesting that at least they're both British, yeah. So Hamilton for me, I've followed him for years, and to see him win in a Ferrari, obviously I know that was a couple of races back, but that was fantastic to see him back in it. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
wonderful, love it.
Okay, so obviously today we're going to talk about what the big idea is, but before we get into that, is I always like to start by talking a little bit around the future and how you see the future. So, with the onset of AI and everything that's changing, what are your views on the future of work, the future just in general?
It's an interesting question because I don't necessarily have an answer for it because there's so many facts, stats, blogs out there, news stories that are saying, probably, I don't know, 50, 60%, depending on the numbers you read, of jobs of the future don't even exist today.
Yeah,
So to really kind of predict it is tough. What I can say for sure is it's going to be different.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and we have to embrace that difference. I'm seeing lots of young technologists that we spoke to at this event that I was at yesterday,
yeah,
working in a completely different way,
yeah,
thinking in a completely different way, that
yeah,
actually, when you sit back and think about it, is really inspiring. So it's going to be very different.
yeah,
I think technology and AI is going to make a huge impact.
yeah,
I don't subscribe to the doom forecasters that the world's going to be taken over by robots, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But
yeah.
I think it's positive. I think it's just going to be a very different way of working in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I kind of feel the same thing. And you go, this fear mongering with AI is going to take all the jobs away and all of that. You go, well, at the end of the day, I don't know if it was 10 years ago when they told us we were going to have driverless cars within a couple of years, and it never materialized. And we're getting
Totally.
closer now. But that's taken what 10 years and we're still not there. So you go, yeah, AI is it's obviously gonna take some jobs, but I think it's more about the way that we integrate it in the future and how we work with it. But as you're saying, young minds as well, the young minds that are coming through think so different. I watched my little one just with his phone, and it's like, I don't use a phone like that.
No, no, not at all. And there was a stat that I saw the other day. It was from the World Economic Forum, and they said that by 2030, 90 million jobs are going to be displaced by AI.
Right.
When
Yeah.
you look at that, you go, crikey,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah.
But then they're saying there's going to be 170 million new jobs emerge
Created.
out the back of it.
Yeah.
So, there's a massive positive in that. They're just going to be different jobs. So
Yeah.
it's definitely
Absolutely.
not something to be scared of. There's like 80 million new jobs going to emerge.
Yeah.
So there's a positive with all of this as well.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day and it said that all of a sudden philosophers are in demand in Silicon
Yeah,
Valley,
yeah,
right? And because, all of a sudden it's about the morality of using AI and, the thought process that goes behind it and the thinking you go. So it's going to create new jobs, new ways of working, definitely.
that's it.
Um, okay, so today, we're talking about reframing HR, and I know you got this key quote around it being human-centered and commercially driven. So, on the basis of, if we look at human-centered leadership, it's become a bit of a buzzword in recent times. So, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think some people just roll their eyes and go, "Oh, this is HR being soft and fluffy and not with the." And that's why I always work on the human-centric, commercially driven bit because it's got to be commercially driven.
Yeah,
And it is a buzzword that's out there right now. But when I talk about it, and I genuinely mean this, it's about how we tap back into the humans that are doing the work for us, genuinely tapping into them. So
Yeah.
what motivates them? What gets the best out of them?
Yeah.
How are they going to develop? How are they going to perform at their very, very best? And that can sometimes be the difficult conversations as well.
Yeah.
I've had to have difficult conversations that actually are probably the best for the individual as well as the organization. And if
Yeah.
you do that in a way that is framed in from a human-centered perspective,
Yeah.
you still get the engagement, the retention, blah, 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 blah. So you get all of that, but it's how you really tap into each individual
Yeah.
as opposed to a dashboard of
Yeah.
KPIs and metrics and stuff like that. So
Right. Yeah.
when I talk about it, and I've spoke to lots of different people about it, and they've given me examples, and there's just so much stuff. Each individual is motivated by different things. We've heard about it on leadership stuff for years around some people like public praise, some people like private praise.
Yeah.
They're all the leadership 101 stuff that we've probably parked and moved on from that I
Yeah.
think we need to tap back into because
Yeah.
ultimately the people are the people that are going to give us the competitive advantage. And if you do it right, you will get the commercial results, whether that be a really positive discussion or even a difficult discussion. So we've got to get into having that kind of empathy with accountability, I call it as well,
It's
is a
okay.
bit there. Have the
I
empathy
like
with the
that.
people,
Yeah.
but have the accountability and drive the accountability because we've still got to deliver the results at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, another buzzword that is very prevalent at this moment in time is around psychological safety. We talk about creating
Yeah,
safe workplaces, the freedom to speak your mind without fear of the consequences. But actually, in doing that, the way that you explain that, it's really tapping into the fact that each individual is unique. Let's understand what motivates them. The different levers that are going to help us connect with them. But at the same time, it is, isn't it? You've got to be able to give feedback. You've got to be able to give feedback there. And it's interesting feedback because it could be deemed positive as net or negative, but it's just feedback at the end of the day, right?
it is.
And done in the right way, it makes a difference, right? So how the person takes it, yeah?
It's it's having conversations.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think this
yeah,
weird bit that people act completely differently when they're in the workplace. They
yeah,
have to label stuff. They
yeah.
have to have a difficult conversation. They have to give feedback. It's like
Yeah, it's
if it
true.
was someone
Yeah,
at home, a family member, a friend down the pub or whatever, you'd have a conversation.
yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah,
being really sort of enthusiastic about it. You'd want to know more. You'd have the conversation about it. You'd build on it.
yeah,
Someone was being a bit of a jerk, you'd
yeah,
probably tell them.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's just about we've lost the art of a conversation. That's
That
the
you know what
difficulty bit.
that
We've got
that's
to
a
get back.
yeah, really, really good points. Really good way of putting it. It's interesting, isn't it? It's not as if you sit in the pub and go, right, we need to have a difficult conversation now.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul. When you bought that beer, can I just give you a little bit of feedback on how you
Yeah,
did, how you asked me? You wouldn't even
yeah,
think of it, would you?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's being more human, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. So, do you think organizations then have lost sight of the human element over the last decade then? Because I know you've kind of, started to touch into that.
Yeah, I think it does. It kind of builds on that bit about the art of the conversation, I think. Um, Probably come on to some of the questions later on, but if I think back to when we think back to COVID, those dark days of COVID,
Yeah,
um, I felt that organizations literally overnight became really human
yeah,
because they
definitely.
started to think about people have got ill relatives, people might have lost people, people are anxious, people are worried, they're scared of coming into the office, scared of traveling. It's all absolutely, 100% right. But they tapped into it and we did stuff about it, partly because we had to.
Yeah,
Partly, I really think that people did genuinely take an interest in their people at that point and became
yeah,
human about it.
yeah,
And I think since kind of COVID's moved on, we've started to lose that a little bit.
yeah,
There's all the stories about people demanding people back into the office 5 days a week.
yeah,
Uh, there's lots of stuff on metrics and KPIs and dashboards. And I think we might just have lost, not all the time, but we've lost that art of the conversation again that really makes that difference. And
yeah,
I feel like we made huge strides coming out of COVID, and
yeah,
we're in danger of kind of taking two steps forward, but one step back a little bit at the moment. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think we've just got to go back a little bit to tapping into that
Mm.
because everyone's everyone's got some shit going on outside of work, right? And that was happening big time in COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
And the days of leaving those troubles at the door when you come into the office are well gone.
yeah,
So just because COVID's moved on and we really tapped into them, why aren't we still doing it now?
yeah,
And I think that way you drive real loyalty, real engagement,
yeah,
and real performance by doing it. So I think it's just not to say we don't necessarily think we've lost it,
yeah.
but we're in danger of losing it at times, I think. So we've just got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, it's totally agree. It's that for me, it was like what came to the fore as you called, talked about empathy, the compassion, kindness as well. Sometimes I think about kindness, you got to be kind to yourself before you can to other people. But it's all this compassion, kindness that comes with, and you go, well, that's human-centered leadership, isn't it? It's all about being human at the end of the day. The other part for me though is you go, well, if the onset of AI is coming, what actually truly separates us from AI is those human elements, those human aspects,
Completely.
yeah.
Completely.
And we
That's
can't
exactly it. And people want to
decipher.
feel valued. AI doesn't have an emotion.
Yeah,
Whether you tell it's right or wrong, or you switch it on or off, it's not going to be bothered. But people,
yeah,
they want to feel valued, they want to feel a purpose,
yeah,
and you can tap into that by having those conversations.
yeah, definitely. So on the basis of linking into AI there, it's transforming work at an incredible rate at the moment. What worries you most?
AI doesn't worry me. I
Yeah,
heard someone say to me, and this really landed with me the other day. AI is just software. We've called it artificial intelligence, like these robot films that you see
yeah,
from Hollywood and stuff. It's just software.
yeah.
People weren't worried when suddenly Google came out or the internet
Oh
came
yeah,
out. It's
yeah,
actually an
yeah,
enabler.
yeah, yeah,
So AI doesn't worry me. Leadership worries me in the world of AI.
yeah, yeah,
Because unless you've got leaders that can embrace it and start to adapt to it,
yeah,
then it does become a threat.
yeah,
If I've got leaders that are worried that everyone's going to lose their jobs, that's going to convey into the workforce and create
yeah,
instability.
yeah,
And because it's going at such a pace, you can't possibly keep up with it. You can't expect leaders to be on top of AI, everything. There's a
yeah,
guy I was chatting to the other day, wrote a big article on AI, and he said that 2 days later, Microsoft and Google had done updates to products or new products in the 48 hours since he'd done their thing.
yeah,
So don't expect leaders to keep up with it.
yeah,
Do expect leaders, though, to embrace it,
yeah,
be vulnerable with it, experiment with it. Because if we've got AI that's making work faster but not better,
yeah,
then we've missed an opportunity.
yeah,
So
absolutely. That's a really
if
good
we can
point.
get leaders thinking about how do I take the grunt work out of it? How do I take the stuff out of the job that people don't particularly like doing
Yeah,
and let them focus on the creativity, the problem solving, the critical thinking, all the stuff humans are brilliant at?
yeah,
Then if we don't do that, we've missed a massive opportunity. So
yeah,
yeah, AI doesn't worry me. It actually kind
yeah.
of engages me, but the leadership element of it and
Does.
how we lead into this is
Yeah.
what would concern me.
Yeah, so it's really interesting statement just from what you said there, from your words around, doing things faster but not better. And it's
Yeah.
interesting that, isn't it? Because that fits into a KPI type system, performance management type. So, okay, now we've got it, we can work faster, do more, and then we're missing a trick, aren't we? Because we're not, the human element goes, we're not tapping into all the things that you just said if it becomes like that.
Yeah, and do you know what? There's a heck of a lot of pressure on leadership teams and particularly on HR
Yeah.
around saving cost
Right.
and that sometimes comes down to payroll cost. And there's a view sometimes that AI is an enabler to taking payroll cost out
Yeah.
because we're doing stuff faster, productivity gets better, therefore we don't need as many people.
Yeah.
And that fuels the doom mongers around AI that we're all going to lose our jobs.
Yeah.
Actually, if you get the leadership right, you are taking out the drudgy stuff that's not efficient. You're enabling the people then to tap into that creativity, the problem solving, all of that kind of stuff that's going to drive performance in future.
Yeah.
Don't take the people out, get them doing different stuff that's going to add more
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
Uh,
Totally.
and that'll retain people and engage them and actually give you the commercial benefit as opposed to short termism, let's cut payroll.
Yeah, definitely. That makes complete sense to me. So thinking about leadership, linking into leadership, what is the biggest leadership skill organizations will need in the next 5 years, do you think?
The one I always say, and I say it to all the leaders, but I also say it to teams of mine and stuff like that. My biggest thing is curiosity,
Yeah,
curiosity and adaptability.
yeah,
Like I said, you can't keep up with it. You can't be on top of it all the time. But
yeah,
people who are curious, people who are playing with it, looking at different things in an ethical way, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but coming up with, experimenting with ways of how it can help
yeah,
businesses and individuals. I think that's probably the skill that I would really get into because otherwise you just get into managers that manage.
yeah,
And I think there's a huge thing we can unlock here if we get it right with the human bit, with the curiosity bit. We
yeah,
can unlock an awful lot of potential in people that
yeah,
drive real value. So yeah, I think when I talked earlier on about there's that 90 million jobs go in or 170 million jobs come in,
yeah,
how can you not be curious about what they look like, what they're after, what they're doing,
yeah,
not just within your organization, but in the wider kind of world economic kind of piece.
yeah,
Stuff now that was happening, stuff that's happening now that wouldn't have been happening 5 or 10 years ago. And
yeah,
there's going to be stuff
totally.
happening in the next 10 years that we've never even thought of.
Yeah,
And that's exciting.
yeah,
That is
absolutely.
exciting.
It is that statement, isn't it? Because the statement for me is what got you here is probably not going to get you there. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a so and just reframing that is for all the experience that you've got and has made you successful today, the way the future is going to be shaped is not going to be off using that experience. You use some of it, but that level of thinking, because the thinking's going to need to change, and you go, well, actually, you've got to be open to that. And what you just said around the curiosity is around growth mindset, being able
Totally.
to open your mind to thinking differently.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've loved it because I've had a bit of time off and I'm sitting there now. Claude is my new best mate.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sitting
know what
there
you mean. Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah,
going, can you do this? And then
yeah,
he's going ping. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
my days, that's just changed how I think about, or
yeah,
it's about something would have took me 3 days worth of work to get done. It's done
yeah,
in like 5 seconds.
yeah,
And that then goes, right, I can do this now.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
so just playing with it, I've played with it on a personal level with images and stuff like this, but then
Yeah,
equally on a work level,
yeah.
transform stuff. It's
It,
brilliant.
it, it is. I mean, for me, because I do a lot of coaching, is it basically develops a transcript. You go from the transcript, it summarizes, and then I can provide a detailed summary within minutes of a coaching session. You go, that would have taken me time to reflect back, do the proper summary. You go, and it's there straight away, and you go. So it does make some things faster, but you've got to realize that that's just saving you time to focus on the good stuff, right?
Totally.
Being more
All the
curious,
data.
developing people, and so and developing the business and that's what
Yeah,
it frees you up to do, yeah?
totally, totally. I think it's that I've seen people that have done coaches that have gone, let me spot patterns in the work that I'm doing with this individual or whatever. And it's literally just pulled this dashboard up in seconds
Yeah,
of all the transcripts of different KPIs that they've given them. And all of a sudden, you can become really honed in on
yeah.
the stuff that's
So,
really going to make a difference.
yeah,
That would have took you days to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now it's
So,
taken seconds. So go and have a play on it. That's what my
yeah,
advice.
yeah, so totally agree. Yeah, I've been doing the same. So going back to then the way that people are working, because you mentioned obviously people, organizations calling people back into the office. So is hybrid working still the future, or are we definitely seeing a shift back to the old ways now?
It's frustrating for me, this one, because I think we should have moved on from debating about where people work.
Yeah,
It's now about how people work, how we drive the outputs and the outcomes that we really need. Shouldn't be about presenteeism, shouldn't be about that. If I go back to what I was saying before about the COVID days, now we had to make people work remotely. We had to. There was no other way around it.
yeah,
And now we're getting in, I'm seeing more and more of this. Let's get back to the office. Let's get back to the office. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some very, very good case studies about why.
yeah,
I've seen bits where people have got really strong graduate intake
yeah,
where they get a lot of their learning on the job with people, and that can
yeah,
sometimes the water cooler moments that all works.
yeah,
But most of the cases, I can't see any data
yeah,
for why we're making that back. And if I go back to the human bits, we're going to be like, well, why? It was
yeah,
working.
yeah,
Everyone was happy. Everyone was
yeah,
saying it's not. So I think, I kind of pose a question about what's changed to
Mm,
make people go back. If you've got the data that says actually
yeah.
the
Difference.
performance of the organization is suffering,
Yeah.
then fair enough. You make the call to bring people back.
Yeah.
If it's about the on-job development of new starters and things, great, do it. But have a reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've seen so many companies that just make this arbitrary. We're going back to 5 days in the office,
Yeah.
and they lose really good people because
Yeah.
there are a lot of companies out there that are going, I don't care when you work, where you work, how you work. I just want the outputs.
Yeah.
And I mentioned I was chatting to all these young technologists yesterday,
Yeah.
and one of the questions that we asked them was, "How do you work? How do
Yeah.
you like to work? What motivates you?" And
Yeah.
they're working for some of the biggest organizations in the UK, let alone the Northwest.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, I'll get up about 8:45.
Yeah.
I'll stroll into the office for about 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do this. I'm done by 6, half 6, because that and then gives me a bit of time to go to the gym in the morning." And
Yeah. Yeah.
these like young technologists, they're sort of like at 19, 20 years of age.
Yeah.
They're smashing it out of the park. They're on the hypo lists at their organizations
Yeah.
because they're enabled to work in a way that
Yeah.
suits them to get the very best out of them.
Yeah.
Because someone's saying, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
me into the office at
Yeah.
8 in the morning, I'm not going to give my best work. If you
Yeah.
let me come in at 10,
Yeah.
you can get the best
You've
out of
got the
me. And
part.
it's like, great.
And do you know what? I massively agree with, and the reason I massively agree with it, right, is that I look at it and go, I've never been a morning person, right? And you get a lot of those motivation books that go, you've got to get up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. It's like, yeah, but I can't because I don't do that, right? That's not me,
Oh,
right? Right. So I've always viewed success as being around, and I probably am a 9 to 5. That's probably my hours, right? So it probably works for me, but that's not me coming in dead early. It's kind of, probably sooner stay late than coming earlier. Do you know what I mean? But you go, I've always had that belief now. I was listening to Stephen Bartlett, who, Stephen Bartlett, he opened up Social Chain, and now he's a multimillionaire. He's everywhere, right? And you look at him, and I was listening to him speak, and he said, "Listen, my day, exactly the way that you just described it. He's not even out of bed by 10 o'clock, right? He's only getting going about 11. Somewhere he fits in the gym. He's working late, and then he works late into the night at times. And he goes, but that's the way. That's where I get. He does his best work, right? So when I'm asleep in bed, he's still switched on working, right? But he's getting up later, and you go, but why not? And do you know what the word comes down to that I think personally what we've just been talking about is that organizations sometimes who bring, and it's not always the case, as you said, if they've got a good reason, but organizations are bringing people back because it's command and control, right? Those
totally.
organizations that go, here's your flexibility, it's about trust and empowerment. And you go,
No, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, it comes back to that human element of trust. Do you
yeah,
trust me to deliver
yeah,
over and above
yeah,
what you need me to deliver in that 24-hour, 7-day period? If you do, let me crack on and I'll do it. If you
yeah,
don't, make me come back into an office when I'm not really going to do my best work. I'll
yeah,
probably sit on Teams calls all day.
yeah.
People who are at home. It's bonkers. It's
And, and,
absolutely
and
nuts.
if you can't trust your people, you never recruit it properly then.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. And
like,
if I don't feel trusted, do you
yeah.
know what? I'll go and move to an organization that does trust me.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And do you know the other thing as well, the old transactional analysis where you go, if you get treated like a critical parent, then you act like a child. Do you know what I mean? It's like vice
100%.
versa. You get treated like an
100%.
adult, then you have adult conversations, back to conversations, right? So just out of interest then, because we're talking about young people and the likes of Stephen Bartlett, really talented people. What's the biggest mistake that organizations make when trying to retain the talent that they've got, do you think?
I think probably the biggest mistake I've seen is when it becomes a reactive process.
Yeah,
So somebody's engagement dips, who's a high performer. So
yeah,
they start taking maybe time off work. There's showing signs that maybe they are looking elsewhere. And then suddenly there's a reaction that says, let's look at their pay. Let's look at them maybe for a promotion.
yeah,
And I think, again, coming back to that human emotion side of it, that becomes a bit more about, well, this is about you. You're worried that you're going to lose me and that's going to damage the performance of the organization. That's why you're now trying to retain me.
Yeah.
If you tap in against that human bit about people want to be trusted, they want to be valued, they want to be developed, they want to grow. If you're doing that as a part of the DNA of your organization,
Yeah.
you probably don't need to worry too much about having to kind of be that reactive retention mechanism.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, don't get me wrong. I work on the basis that you are a custodian of the talent for as long as it works for both parties.
Yeah.
And that's great leaders develop people into people that go on and grow and do other things. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the retention of people, if it's a reactive process, I think you're going wrong. And it doesn't always work. If you
Yeah.
do it proactively,
Yeah.
have the conversations with people again,
Yeah.
develop them,
Yeah.
look at what's motivating them.
Yeah.
Is it just that they want to be the best software developer that they can possibly be? Is
Yeah.
it that they want to go into management? Is it they want to pivot into something else? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
have those conversations and have plans in place proactively.
Yeah.
That way, they probably won't even start looking. They won't take the call from the agency because
Yeah.
they're happy and they're content.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it reactively, we're not daft and we feel that,
Yeah.
and we'll
Yeah.
probably go,
Yeah.
well, you're only doing that because.
Put me on a talent program because rather than it being genuine about you care, you're committed, you're developing somebody in their best interest, their career. Yeah. And it's
Genuine and
it's just
authentic.
that, isn't it? Because I think everybody has a career agenda. And if you tap into their career agenda and it helps you support that, then that's once again human leadership, right?
Yeah, totally, totally right.
Okay. So if you could change one thing about leadership today, what would it be?
I'm probably bound to say this, given the jobs that you and I do, probably. I would make all managers coaches.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
partly because that's the stuff that drives the conversations. It's the stuff that really unlocks potential. It's
Yeah.
the stuff that drives performance.
Yeah.
It's not the spreadsheet says this, go and do this.
Yeah.
It's not here's instead of giving people outcomes as objectives, it's a task list that undermines their capability. So managing is old school for me.
Yeah.
It's the old school supervisor kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
I would get them all to be coaches, and you'll know this, but I think the biggest thing you can give somebody through coaching isn't advice, isn't the answer, it's self-belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get that right in somebody, and
Yeah.
as a you're a coach, you'll have seen it with individuals where
Yeah.
you see them suddenly the light bulb comes on,
Yeah.
almost like the butterfly comes out and they go off and fly, and it's amazing, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
imagine doing that en masse in an organization,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
impact that can have,
Yeah.
as opposed to standing over somebody with a spreadsheet and managing them,
Yeah.
is
Totally.
exponentially brilliant. So
Yeah.
I would stop people being managers and I
Yeah.
would recruit people into management roles that are great coaches.
Great coaches. That makes absolute sense to me. Totally. So, coming to some kind of conclusions then, just starting with, we started by talking about the future. So what gives you optimism about the future of work?
Um, those young technologists that I spoke to yesterday,
Yeah. The energy.
totally,
Yeah.
they just ask
Yeah.
different questions. They
Yeah.
challenge the
Yeah.
status quo.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm curious and I'm like this, and
Yeah.
I'm 53 now,
Yeah.
and these young technologists that were sitting there at 19, 20, they're
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? And you're like, I actually don't know. Because
Yeah.
I've always done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
just that. But that's how I've been I've grown and I've been developed. But the different questions that they're asking, they're challenging those assumptions. They're almost creating
Yeah.
those 170 million new roles
Yeah.
by challenging and doing things differently and working differently and making old what's it's like me think differently around how
Definitely.
it goes. And that's the exciting bit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sitting there now going, at one point, I've got a 16-year-old son, and I was sitting there at some point listening to all the doom mongers around AI going, what on earth is the workforce going to be like for him?
Yeah.
And now I listen to him talking
Yeah.
and I listen to these young technologists that I was chatting to yesterday, and I'm going, we're all right.
We're all right.
We're
We'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
totally going to be fine.
They've got it in the bag. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got it
Yeah.
in the way. They're just doing it in a completely different way than we would ever have done it.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at it and you go, I watch, say, my mum with a mobile phone, different generation, and you hear it when you have a conversation, be like, this bloody phone or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And you think,
100%.
I think, 10 years, 20 years, or let's say 20 years time for us, hopefully 30, right? We'll be like that, but it'll be something new, won't it? We'll be like this.
Yeah,
Bloody, whatever it'll be, that'll be us in the future because
it
the young
will.
ones are going to come through and the minds and the way their minds work, the way they operate, and you go, things will be fine. You've got to have that belief, haven't you, in a positive future at the end of the day. You
You've
know,
got to trust them. And this is the kind of rub we're going to get right now,
yeah,
is you've
yeah,
got people in leadership positions at our kind of age
yeah, yeah,
that aren't as savvy in the new ways of work. And you've got this
yeah,
new crop coming through.
definitely.
You've got to be careful you don't stifle it.
Yeah,
The brilliant leaders and the ones that are going to drive the really successful businesses in the future are going to embrace it and go,
yeah,
go on, then, tell me more.
yeah. And they're going to
And be
connect
open to that challenge.
on all generations, isn't it? Being able to connect with all generations as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But I think that's the bit that gives me the hope.
Yeah.
My son will be in a really good job and he'll be able to put me in a great home when I'm older.
Yeah, the AI will look after you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have a robot that's going to pamper my every need.
Oh, it's been a great conversation. So on the basis then, Ian, of you and the work that you've done, and obviously the way that you see HR. So if I work with you, how would you describe, the way that you work and what you do to make HR, effective, optimized? What is it that you do?
It's back to that human-centric, commercially driven. That's
Yeah,
just my mantra.
yeah,
I think the old HR teams, and I hear some HR teams now going, "Oh, we're not valued. We're seen as, the admin people or whatever it is."
yeah,
I'm like, do something about it then. Are you connected to the corporate strategy?
yeah,
If you're connected and you're showing that the people plan is driving the performance of the organization, you are way more than a cost center.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and if it's not, there's the old adage, if it does it make the boat go faster and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
your people plan make the boat go faster? And if
yeah,
it does, tell the business how it's going to be doing it, challenge the business, and you'll be seen as a strategic enabler that
yeah,
is commercially driven.
yeah,
You're just doing it through the people rather
yeah,
than through the technology or the products or the marketing strategy or whatever.
yeah,
It's as crucial, if not more crucial than that.
yeah,
So be commercially driven,
yeah.
but have the human centricity that goes with it.
Fantastic. And as you said there, just to add the third point, not admin, it's about being a strategic partner as well. Yeah.
Got to
Fantastic.
be. That
Great
gives
stuff.
people in the team purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
They're just there to mop up the spillage in aisle three when something goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they're not going to feel like really empowered by a purpose, are they? If
No.
they're there saying, I'm enabling this organization to do this,
Yeah.
then they're engaged. Then they see the purpose in what they're doing, etc. And that's on the leaders of the HR teams to align everything like that.
Great stuff. Okay. So it's been great talking with you today, Ian. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Welcome.
And
Love it.
yeah, look forward to catching up again soon in the future.